Europe and the United States are stronger and safer together. A veiled warning from the head of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg. He was speaking in Brussels at events to mark the 75th anniversary of the military alliance.
Ministers have been discussing a 5-year funding plan for Ukraine. There are growing fears of direct confrontation with Russia and even a possible breakup of the alliance if Donald Trump returns to power.
Let's talk to our correspondent, John Bevir, who's in Brussels. So, John, tell us more about these anniversary events and what's been said.
Well, in his most recent press conference and his final public remarks at the end of this summit, the Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg reiterated this message that we've heard increasingly over the last few days about the need to move away from this short-term support for Ukraine to move towards some more permanent, long-term assistance. So that is something that I think very much NATO are keen for people to take away from this summit in terms of the message they've been trying to get across. As you say as well, though, of course, this was the 75th anniversary, so it was a chance to look back as well at what NATO say is a very successful alliance, and they say the strongest alliance that there's ever been. So, of course, those messages of support for each other and trying to very much display a publicly at least, that things are smooth here, that was something that NATO are very keen to do as well. But, of course, they do face a lot of issues. Of course, we have the ongoing conflict in Ukraine and the urgent need for more assistance there. We have the ongoing conversation about who funds NATO and how much all of the different member nations contribute, and that is something that will keep being discussed. And then, of course, we have these worries about Donald Trump re-entering the White House and what that might mean for NATO. So lots for them to be talking about here over the past 2 days.
So you say that members have been talking about a move towards long-term assistance for Ukraine. Remind us of what they've been discussing.
Well, the numbers we've been hearing about, this $100 billion over 5 years, is what's been said, but the actual details of that have been very short. We don't know whether this is new money or repackaged previous pledges, so there are lots of questions about that. It seems very much that this is lots of ideas being talked about and now being discussed behind the scenes as well. So all of that being talked about here. And as well, let's remember that as well as the anniversary being talked about here, the Ukrainian foreign minister was here as well. And he had a very clear message for NATO, and what he said was an urgent need for missile defense systems.
I don't want to spoil the party, but of course my message, the birthday party, but my main message today will be patriots, because saving Ukrainian lives, saving Ukrainian economy, saving Ukrainian cities depends on the availability of Patriots and other air defense systems.
NATO have said they understand the urgency and they are currently looking into that request for Patriot missiles. So as much that today was about looking back at 75 years of NATO, there's obviously lots for them going on at the moment in the present day for them to focus on.
John, thank you very much. Our correspondent John Bevir for us in Brussels.